Hello everyone, this is Thomas Gunn at Das Haus, and today we're going to be making a recipe that in German is called Gerissene hosen. In English that translates to torn pants, but quite a few European countries have a version of this. I know there's a Polish version, I can't say the name. I believe there's an Italian version. This is a German version. This recipe was shown to me by a friend of mine who was shown it by his mother-in-law, who is German. So we're going to get going. In my bowl right now, I've got 3 egg whites. Keep your 3 egg yolks because you will be needing them. To your 3 egg whites, just add a pinch of salt. And now we're going to turn this on and whisk it to stiff peaks. All right, there we go. So I've got really stiff peaks. Now we're going to change the attachment to a paddle. And now we are going to fold in the yolks one by one. So how I would do this is I would start it on a low speed, pour in your 1 yolk, speed it up really quick, and then stop. So let's get this going. That's 1. That's 2. So now you want to add a tablespoon of regular white vinegar. And the only thing left to add is the flour. So when my friend showed me this recipe, he does it by eye. So I kind of know the consistency we're going for. It's going to be a really, really thick dough. So we're going to start with a ½ cup of flour. I know that won't be enough, but we're going to do it this way so that I can give you the exact measurement. So on a low speed, and we're going to sprinkle in ½ cup of flour. We're going to add another ½ cup. Another ½ cup. Okay, so now we've got this really thick, rubbery almost dough. It's still too sticky, so I'm going to pour some more flour. So let's take another ¼ cup, and we're just going to knead that in. This is a very thick rubbery dough, so you really want to work this. Pull it towards you, push it out. Pull it towards you, push it out. I'm going to put this flour aside. So that looks like about 2 tablespoons. So when I just added that other 1/4 cup, leave out 2 tablespoons. So I believe what we did was I think we did 1½ cups of flour and then 1/4 minus 2 tablespoons flour. But I'm going to double check that when I watch the video back and when I do the editing, just to make sure I'm giving you the right information. But you can look in the description box below. Okay, so there we have our dough. As you can hear, it's a really thick dough, very rubbery. So now, what we need to do is we're going to cut this in half, and we're going to roll out. See, there's a good reason for those 2 tablespoons. We're going to roll this out paper thin. So I'm just going to cut this in half. I'm going to get a damp towel. I'm going to cover this one so it doesn't dry out. Here's the one that we're going to roll out now. Let me get my rolling pin. All right, I'm just going to get myself a wet towel. Sorry about that, but I don't want this to dry out. These are going to be deep fried, guys. So let's just cover that. All right, a little flour on our rolling pin. And we're off. So you really almost want, well, you do. You want to be able to see through this dough. And because it's so rubbery, it's quite the job to roll this out. But anyway, I'm going to keep going, and when I'm done rolling it, because you don't need to be watching that, I'll come back and we'll continue. Alright, so I've rolled it out. As you can see, you can actually see the veining of my countertop through the dough. It's very thin. Basically, just roll it as thin as you can. So in the meantime, I'm heating up some oil to 350 degrees. I'm going to keep my eye on that. Let's just straighten out the edges here. It'll just make it easier to form them. So now what you want to do is just make some long pieces about 1 inch wide. So let's do this all the way. This is not an exact science. I think mine are probably a little bit wider than 1 inch. And this, you know, I mean, as you can see, there's not much flavoring in these things. They really get doused with icing sugar at the end, but they're so addictively good for some reason. So now, that would be too, well, I think, yeah, I'm going to have to go in half. No, that's going to be too big. So I'm going to go this way. So these are about 4 inches. So I don't think I can use these. I'll see if I can manage. So now my friend actually would put 3 slices into each because you kind of have to fold it into each other. Hold on one sec, I just want to check my oil. Okay, but I saw another method which is much easier. So you do 1 slit down the middle, then you're going to pick it up, and you're going to take one end, doesn't matter which end, so I'm going to take the bottom end, and you put this whole thing through the slit, you pull it out, and there you go. That's a completed one. Let's do it again. A slit down the middle, take this whole bottom, push it through the hole, pull it out, and you see how it'll naturally curl? That's what you want. So here's 2 finished ones. So let's just keep doing that. Made a slit, pull it through, pull on it so it kind of makes like a ribbon pattern. So once you've got this going, it goes pretty quick. So make a slit. So here you can see, I think you can see how long I've made the slit. And then you're going to take this bottom piece, push it in, pull it out, slightly tug, and there you go. Just going to check my oil. Okay, my oil's at the right temperature. So let me just bring you over to my oil. Sorry about that. There we go. I've got my oil at 350. I'm just going to pull the thermometer out. So these fly. Yeah, they fly. They fry really quick, like really, really quick. You don't want to see much color on them. So let's drop one in. Like literally, my friend said 5 seconds per side. I think it takes a little longer. Let's flip it. And put another one in. Gonna turn up my heat just a little because by adding these, I'm lowering the temperature of the oil. I'm gonna flip this one again. As soon as you start to see any little bit of color, take it out. Flip that one again. So this one is done. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but there's just a touch of an almondy color. So I'm just going to put this aside on a parchment paper lined baking sheet, because as you can see, these do expand and they end up taking up quite a bit of room. This one needs to be flipped. It doesn't want to flip. There we go. So yeah, I see just a tinge of, I don't know if you can see the difference between this one and this one. See how much paler this one still is? So these are both almondy in color. Take them out and put them aside. Flip this one. Yeah, see that side's nice and almond color. That one's done. So these end up being really, really light. Like I said, I don't know why these are so addictive, to me anyway. But I'm going to just keep going. I'll actually count them out after and tell you about how many they make. Well, not about, I'll tell you exactly how many I made, but it really depends. Oopala. That's going to be hot. It really depends how much waste you end up having. So I'm just going to leave my oil on very low, and I'm going to fry the rest of them. Sorry about that, guys. I'm going to fry the rest of them, and then once they're all fried, I'll come back and we'll continue. Okay, so they're all done. I counted them up for you guys. It made 44. So now get yourselves a sieve and some powdered sugar or icing sugar, whatever you want to call it. And very, very generously, you are going to coat them. Because really this is kind of where they get the most of their flavor from. Incidentally, make sure you've let them cool down very well. Otherwise, the sugar will melt. So let's give them a flip. This is a bit tedious, but it doesn't take that long. The whole process probably took me I don't know, let's say 40 minutes, which is not that bad. And incidentally, why I chose to make these now is because if you watched my other videos, I made donuts last week. So I had kept the oil, I had put it in the fridge, and I decided to make these with the same oil so as not to waste it. So some more powdered sugar and some more dusting. I suppose you could actually, because a lot of Germans put like 1 or 2 packages of vanilla sugar in their sugar when they sprinkle it over something. I suppose you could do that, but I think this is the more traditional flavor. So there we go. These are Gerissene hosen, or torn pants in English. So here, as you can see, let's pick a nice one. So they're very light. If you crack them, they're crispy, very light on the inside. I mean, really, it's just eggs and some flour. Let's give that a try. Delicious. So there you go. A shout out to my friend Bob for teaching me the recipe, and to his mother-in-law, Mrs. Binder, for teaching him the recipe. Give these a try. I'm sure you'll like them. I think the longer they sit, the more crispy they'll get. But I'm sure they won't stick around for long. Anyway, so like this video, please subscribe to my channel. If you click on the bell, you'll get notifications when I post another video. Have yourselves a great day, and bon appetit.